All right, so I need to finish these last couple of problems from your T5, Unit 1A, topic 1.5, Part A. Okay, so we got through everything up until here, and I am going to show you the long way that you would do this problem first, okay, because somebody mentioned that if they could see the long way, then they might understand how we get the shortcut and it might do better. So I am going to show you the long way first, and then I will come back and talk about how we're using this shortcut to do that, okay? So let's look at example 8. So example 8 in your notes. Again, don't write this on your notes because I want to show you this the long way first. All right, so if I'm doing this on, and I'm given the roots of x equals 2 plus 5i, okay, and then we know that the other one would obviously be x equals 2 minus 5i. All right, so if we're doing this the long way, then we would have to put these as factors. So that means we would have to move both of these over. Okay, and that would give me x minus 2 minus 5i and x minus 2 plus 5i. So then our factors would be x minus 2 minus 5i and x minus 2 plus 5i. Okay, so if we were to work that out the long way, again, I'm going to you can either distribute, I'm going to do the box, just to show you, and it would just be a 3 by 3 box. Okay, so I'm going to have x minus 2 minus 5i and x minus 2 plus 5i. And I'm going to fill this in. So x times x would give me x squared minus 2x minus 5ix minus 2x plus 4 plus 10i plus 5ix minus 10i and minus 25i squared. Okay, well, I squared is -1, so negative 25 times -1 would give me positive 25. Okay, so now if I simplify this, I would have x squared minus 2x and minus 2x would become minus 4x. The minus 5ix and the plus 5ix are going to cancel out. The plus 10i and the minus 10i are going to cancel out. And then we would have 4 plus 25, which would give me positive 29. Okay, so that's if I work that out the long way. Now, you could do this with every single type of problem. This was one on your homework that you could have done the same thing with. All right, but if I go over here and I use our shortcut, which is this formula right here. So we know the roots. So we have our roots of x equals 2 plus 5i. And then we're also going to have x equals 2 minus 5i. So here's what they're saying. If you have roots like this that are complex, okay, you can take it and just do the sum first. So the sum is 2 plus 5i plus 2 minus 5i. If I add those together, the 5i's cancel, and I get 4. Then you can do the product. So 2 plus 5i times 2 minus 5i. 2 times 2 gives me 4, minus 5 or minus 10i plus 10i minus 25i squared. Well, the minus and the plus right here cancel out. So I have 4 minus 25 times -1. I squared is -1. And then that becomes positive 25, which gives me 29. So then the rule says f of x equals x squared minus the sum was 4, x plus the product, which was 29. Okay, so now for example number 9. If you know that x equals 5 minus I is a root, find the remaining roots and include multiplicity. Okay, so if we know our root, x equals 5 minus I, we also know we have x equals 5 plus I. So just using that, I'm going to do the sum. Well, the i's will cancel, so 5 and 5 is 10. And then I'm going to do the product. So 5 times 5 is 25. Five times 5 is 25. Plus 5i right here. Well, and minus 5i are going to cancel. So I have negative I times I, which is negative I squared, which gives me 26. Okay, so now that gives me, if I use that formula right here, okay, f of x equals, that would, for this one, that would give me x squared minus the sum is 10, plus the product, so plus 26. Okay, so that is one of my factors. Okay, now I'm going to go up here and I'm going to use that factor into here to get my other factor. So I'm going to do long division. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide x squared minus 10x plus 26 into x to the fourth minus 2x cubed minus 38x squared plus 48x plus 416. Okay. All right, x, and so that gives me x squared. That'd be negative 10x squared. When we add, it's going to be positive. That would be, x cubed, sorry. And then that would be negative 26x squared whenever we change the sign. So those go away. It's going to give me 8x cubed minus 64x squared. We're going to bring down our 48x. So x squared, so that's going to be plus 8x. That's going to give me 8x cubed minus 80x, so that's going to be plus 80x squared minus 208x. Okay. All right, so 16x squared minus 160x plus 416. And then x squared into 16x squared is going to give me plus 16. So that'll give me 16x squared minus 16 times 10 is minus 160, but change the sign, so it'll be plus 160. And 16 times 26 is going to give me 416, so minus 416. And we're going to end up with a remainder of 0, making my other polynomial x squared plus 8x plus 16. This one can factor further. So it only asks us to find the remaining roots and include the multiplicity. So our remaining root would just be x equals negative 4 with a multiplicity of 2. Okay, this would be our polynomial. We will work it out if they wanted the full equation. Should get us back to here. Okay, but I did want to practice this right here with y'all because I just did it here and didn't do it here. Okay? All right, so now let's look real quick at a couple of those homework problems that I said I would go over after this. One second, y'all. Get all my papers organized. So this would be all right. So now we're going to look at question number 16. Okay, question number 16 on your homework. All right, so 16 told us, all right, that's what 16 said. 16 told us that we have a degree of 5, and we have a 0 at 0. We have a 0 at the square root of 3, and we have a 0 at negative I. Okay, well, we know, based on pairs and things of that nature, that this is going to be also the negative square root of 3 and positive I. Okay, so that means I can write my factors. If it's just 0, that's just x. This would be x minus the square root of 3. This will be x plus the square root of 3. This will be x plus I and x minus I. All right, if we distribute it out right here, x times x is going to give me x squared. Plus square root of 3x minus square root of 3x canceled out, and the negative square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is the negative square root of 9, which is minus 3. Sorry, somebody came to my door. Okay, so there's that one. X is still here. And same thing here. X times x is going to give me x squared. Minus ix and plus ix are going to cancel out. I times negative I is negative I squared, which is negative negative 1, which is positive 1. So there's my equation for number 16. They want us to work that out. So you can work it out any way you want to. I'm going to go ahead and just put the x in. And I'll do the box because I know a lot of y'all like the box method. Okay, if I go ahead and put that x in, that's going to become x cubed minus 3x times x squared plus 1. Okay, which gives me f of x equals x to the 5th minus 2x cubed minus 3x. Okay, all right, and then for 18, it says use the given 0 to find the remaining zeros. Well, the given 0 is the square root of 5, so we also know we have the negative square root of 5. Okay, so basically this is number 18. They gave me the square root of 5, so I also know I have the negative square root of 5. Okay, which gives me x minus square root of 5 and x plus square root of 5. All right, which gives me factor, x times x is x squared. Those will cancel, and then minus 5. So that is one of my factors. And the reason I need that to find the other zeros, now, I could have done several different things there, but I'm going to use this factor and divide by it. Or I could have done factor by grouping from the get-go. Either way, okay? So if you divide, you would end up getting, if I did factor by grouping, because I know a lot of y'all weren't great on that. I would group these together, I would group these together, I would factor out a 2x squared and a 10. So then my factors will be 2x squared plus 10 and x minus 4. Okay. So then we already have our square root of 5s, which is what this comes from. And this would just be 4. So our other 0 that we're missing is 4. All right, so hopefully that makes life a little bit better, especially on explaining that shortcut. And then if you have any other questions about the homework, you can try the odds if you want to just get some extra practice. Try the odds, and if you've got a question about a certain one, let me know, okay?